It's time for the Classic Metal Show to start begging for email.
What the hell is email?
Death sent me an email.
Well, when you figure it out, email me.
And here's your loser beggars, Neely and Chris.
You've got mail.
All right, even though this is our unofficial, unpaid production manager, guru guy, our good friend Greg,
yes,
a.k.a. Wheezy,
okay,
emailed us this week.
Well, excellent.
He's usually sending in, clips and snippets and things he puts together for the show.
Sure.
But this week he's got several points he wants to, bring to our attention.
Okay.
He starts off with, the Mark Nero segment has finally became interesting. Congrats.
Well, he's a dreamer there.
You have successfully turned coal into diamonds.
Very nice.
So I'm going to take that as a compliment.
I'll give that all to you, too, because if I had my druthers about it, we would never read another Mark Nero email again.
Right. Here are some segments that have been missing from the CMS. Greg's been listening for a long time.
Okay.
Number one, the Snake Man.
The Snake Man.
He mentions the Snake Man has been missing for a long time.
Well, it just so happens that we've had updates about the Snake Man.
That's what you tell me.
I'm going to look it up right now.
He says Snake Man's dog, Sophie, the Wonder Dog, has died.
Oh!
He has posted a video on his YouTube page crying over her dead corpse. Very sad.
That is tragic.
Snake Man has been on a political tear since Obama has been reelected.
Okay.
You can read Snake Man's message to the nation from the link above. So he sent me a blog link.
Okay.
Lemmy Tales. I have the interview still. I can continue. Say the word. This was an idea that I had and still have. But we have all these Lemmy stories from the hundreds of interviews that we've done over the years where we've asked all of the people who have interviewed with us, how has Lemmy influenced your career?
Yep. And
I have literally probably 300 replies.
I asked Jason Newsted just the other day.
And my vision, and perhaps it'll come to fruition, is to create a website with the ability to download and listen to all of the answers to how has Lemmy influenced your career.
Right, for just a nominal fee.
Yeah, it'll be a pay site, but I think it's worth it. It's sort of like, you can go and listen to literally 300 of these things.
Right.
With all your favorite artists, bands, whatever.
For only $5.
Yeah, something cheap.
Right.
Jake Bannerman. I think it's time for another story time with Jake Bannerman. Oh, wait a minute. Let me say it correctly.
Come on, dude. Respect.
Well, I'm going to read it the way he put it, and then I'm going to say it the way it needs to be said.
All right.
I think it's time for another story time with Jake fucking Bannerman, or as we respectfully call him, J.S. Bannerman.
Please, Wheezy, in the future, please refer to the author with his proper title, J.S. Bannerman.
Cerberus. He has only been heard from once since Chris's return. Maybe twice. So I have created an all points bulletin clip to get his attention.
All right, please do play that because we need to get him.
Attention. This is a all points bulletin for Cerberus. The CMS requests your wisdom. Hail and kill. Fuck you, pal. Hand job.
Hand job.
You hear that, Cerberus? If you're still listening, the CMS is summoning you.
That is fucking hilarious.
Attention. This is a all-points bulletin for Cerberus. The CMS requests your wisdom. Hail and kill. Fuck you, pal. Hand job.
Hilarious.
And then last week we were talking about doing your karaoke.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned that Vince Neil had a clip out there on O&A.
Right.
Where he was talking about getting your pipes in shape.
Yes, I remember this.
Well, Wheezy went out there and found the clip of Vince Neil on Opie and Anthony talking about that.
Nice.
We have Vince Neil on the stage.
Yeah.
Yes. Woo. And Vince, you had a huge year. An absolute huge year. Motley-Crue just selling out all over the place.
The Motley-Crue.
The Motley-Crue.
Yeah.
Motley-Crue. Are you guys all getting along on tour?
No, we hate each other.
I like the fact that they used the Larry King, the Motley Crue.
The Motley Crue.
You still hate each other?
No. It's all good, man. We love each other.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm serious. We travel separately.
You know, when enough time goes by.
Now he says that like it's a joke, but that's the truth.
It is the truth. Of course, he doesn't want to actually... He's trying to laugh it off so that people won't fucking quote him on it, but he's being honest.
He's being honest. They all travel on their own buses, and Vince has his own stage manager as the rest of the band.
Yeah.
And he, his dressing room and so on and so forth is on the other side of the arena away from everybody else.
Of course.
And Jack Carson, who's a complete dick. I know you don't know this guy probably, but his name is Jack Carson.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
He's Vince's tour manager.
Nice.
And this guy's a complete jag-off. And I know him personally only because... Wait a minute, I need to get back into this before I even mention this.
All right.
But I need to play this.
Hey, it's been 5 minutes, and it's time now for Neely to talk Dokken on the Classic Metal Show.
Now, let me tell you a story here.
All right, go ahead.
I've never told this story, for real. Or out in public, but I'm going to say it now because it's been quite a few years.
Okay. Statute is passed.
Right. Well, back in 2000.
Yeah.
Dokken was on the Poison tour with Cinderella, Slaughter, and Poison. It was Slaughter, Dokken, Cinderella, Poison.
Right.
In 2000. So, they were out on tour all summer. Don called me up and said, hey, would you like to go out on the road with us? And, of course, I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. He's like, we're playing in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're going down to Evansville, Indiana, swinging over to Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then we're going to head up to the East Coast, up to Maine or like Boston or somewhere around there.
So just a couple of day road trip.
Right. So I said, okay, I'll fly up and I'll meet you guys in Grand Rapids. All right. Well, prior to that, they played Blossom Music Center. And they were in Akron. They were staying in Fairlawn, which I know where Fairlawn is.
Right, exactly.
Off of Route 18 and 77 out there, up on the hill. There's 3 or 4 hotels up there.
Okay.
Well, I know you've seen it. I have this cross. It's my good friend Jack Livingood, who was a jack of all trades. He could play every instrument. He was good with craft type stuff. He's a tattoo artist. In fact, he did most of my tattoos.
Yeah, Jackie's good, man.
In fact, back in 1999, when Dokken came out with the album Erase the Slate, there's a cross, a Dokken cross, that's part of the artwork for that album cover.
Right.
Well, it was going to be Don's birthday in June. And I asked my friend Jackie, who was a silversmith too. This guy was just amazing. He could just do art and silversmith and music, and the guy just did all kinds of stuff.
Right. I definitely did it all well too.
He did it very well.
Don't want to sell him short, because everything he touched was good.
Sure. So I said to him, I showed him this album cover, this Doc and a Racist Slate. I said, listen, this would make a really cool necklace, like a pendant. I said, can you replicate that in silver? And he's just like, yeah, I can do that. So he made these silver pendants for like a necklace type thing. And I paid him to make 10 of them, which I kept one. I gave I gave 4 to Don. He wanted to give one to each of his kids. He wanted one for himself, and I think he was going to give one to somebody else. And then I gave one to each of the band members. So I gave one to Jeff Pilson, I gave one to Mick Brown, and I gave one to Reb Beach.
Okay.
So, and then my former girlfriend had one, and so there were 10 of these.
Right.
That was it. There were just 10.
Okay.
So it was Don's 48th birthday, and I gave him this for his birthday.
This happened 30 years ago?
No. This was in 2000.
I'm kidding.
2000. While they were on the Poison tour.
Right.
So I know you're being funny. So they were in Akron on Don's birthday. So, I knew that he was going to be in town for that. And they had like a day layover prior to the show at Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
So he and I gave him this for his birthday, and we went to dinner. We went to like the rib place. What's that? Damon's?
Oh, Damon's Ribs?
Yeah, we went to Damon's Ribs for his birthday and the whole thing, whatever. Well, at the time, this was at the very start of the tour. They had this guy. He was Janie Lane's last tour manager, the guy who put the note in his pocket that I'm Janie Lane. Waldo.
Right.
Waldo was Dawkins' tour manager.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
This was only for a very short time.
Okay.
At the beginning of the Poison tour.
Right.
Well, he was a young guy, for all intents and purposes, a kid. And he was kind of, for lack of a better term, he was just kind of fucking up. He just wasn't very good, okay?
All right.
Inexperienced, more or less. Not because he's an idiot or something. It's just that he was inexperienced.
Right.
So he kind of fucked things up on a few things, and I don't know if you were you at that show? Did you go to that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was with you, wasn't I? Backstage.
I think you were. Well, Don Dokken, during the Don Dokken phase of, early 90s, had this big backdrop.
Okay.
It was that phoenix rising up from the ashes.
Right.
It was the big up from the ashes phoenix.
Right.
And they basically took that backdrop that he used on that tour, and they basically retrofitted it to have the Dokken logo on it.
Okay.
Well, Poison, being the dicks that they are, that
is mighty big dicks.
And this is the truth. They didn't like the fact that Dokken had such a big backdrop.
Ugh,
okay. Well, on the last show that they did prior to come to Akron,
yeah,
somehow that big 40 by 60 backdrop somehow disappeared. It just disappeared.
Those guys are dicks.
So that was something that Don had from the Don Dokken tour of 90, 91, somewhere around there.
Right.
Just disappeared.
Lovely.
Well, that was obviously Waldo's responsibility to see that got taken down, rolled up, loaded in the truck, etc.
Right.
Somehow it just ended up missing.
Sure.
So that was a big one.
Yeah, I'd say.
So
the rest of the tour, they didn't have a backdrop?
They didn't have that backdrop. No, it was gone.
What did they do? Just nothing?
They did nothing. So it was gone. So that was the last straw. That happened in Akron there at Blossom.
Right.
So Don was just like, you know what? You got to go, dude. I can't have this go on the rest of the tour.
Right.
So he called his management and said, we need a better road manager.
Okay.
So they flew out this Jack Carson guy.
All right.
I'm going to put it in English terms, English bloke.
Okay.
And this guy, complete dick. Okay?
To you or to everybody?
To everybody. This is just his personality.
Okay.
So fast forward, Don called me up like a couple of weeks later and said, hey, you want to come out on the road with me?
Right.
And I said, yeah, sure, I'd love to come out. So I grabbed a plane from Cleveland.
Okay.
Flew to Milwaukee, which is where the plane had to change. And then I had to grab a smaller plane from Milwaukee to Grand Rapids.
All right.
Okay. So I fly out of Cleveland. I'm on this small jet.
Right.
I'm the only passenger.
On a jet.
On a jet. It's just me and the flight crew.
All right.
So we fly into Milwaukee, grab a changeover, fly into Grand Rapids. I got to get a cab from the airport in Grand Rapids to go to the not the Van Andel Arena, but it's one of the arenas up there that the tour stopped at. So I'm on the road. I get on the cell phone. I call Don. I said, I'm in the taxi. I'm on my way. I'll be there in like 20 minutes.
All right.
He tells this Jack Carson guy that, hey, my guest is coming, and the thing is that Poison was still on the stage.
Okay.
Okay, when I called, because Dokken was the second band, and then Cinderella played, and then Poison played.
Right.
Well, this Jack Carson, he was I don't even know the reason why. Even to this day, I don't know the reason why. Right. He was so hell-bent on, quote-unquote, sticking to the schedule.
Yeah.
That regardless if I was there or not, they were pulling out.
What a dick.
I got to the arena. Poison hadn't even gotten off the stage yet.
Yeah.
The drive was down to Evansville, Indiana. I got there and the Dokken bus was gone.
Ugh.
Gone.
Wow.
So I got there and the Cinderella guys were hanging out, and I said, hey, where's the Dokken bus? They go, oh, dude, they left. Now, mind you, the Poison buses were there.
Right.
The Cinderella buses were there. I think Slaughter had already split, but Dokken was gone.
Lovely.
And I was just like, what the hell? I just flew in from Cleveland,
Right.
So I got on the phone. They had literally just pulled out like less than 2 minutes before I pulled in. So I got on the phone. I said, Don, where are you? He says, well, Jack told the bus driver he had to go. So they basically came around the block.
Right.
And picked me up.
Oh, man. Did you fucking let that dickhead have it?
Well, I'm not in a place to chew this guy out, whatever.
You absolutely were. You called him ahead of time. I said, dude, I'll be fucking 10 minutes. And then the fucking dickhead fucking pulls out anyway.
Right.
Fuck off.
Right. So anyway, long story short, this guy ends up being Vince Neil's personal tour manager. And from what I understand, he still is.
Right.
But I basically had to ride. Now, I'm gonna tell another, part of the story.
All right.
So we went to Evansville. And, the show played at Outdoor Arena Place.
Yeah.
Well, the show was not selling well in Fort Wayne.
Okay.
So, since the ticket sales were soft in Fort Wayne,
yeah,
all of a sudden, get this, Bret was too ill to perform.
Yeah, right.
So they had to, quote unquote, cancel the show in Fort Wayne.
Sure, they did. Okay.
Because Bret was too sick to perform.
Oh, yeah, his diabetes were acting up.
Right.
Right.
So that show got canceled.
Okay.
So they were going to go directly to the northeast.
Right.
Because the Fort Wayne show got canceled. Well, this is where I was going to hook up with my then girlfriend. She was going to drive from Ohio to Fort Wayne. I was going to, meet her there, and then we were just going to drive home, which is basically a 4-hour ride from Akron.
Right.
Well, they decided, since we're not playing the Fort Wayne show, we're going to run through West Virginia, over to, Pennsylvania, up through New Jersey, and go up through New York and that way.
Right.
So basically I had to reroute her to meet me in Charleston, West Virginia to pick me up.
God damn. Okay, Randy Trask. And that's very inside, but you get it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Too funny.
Little personal story there for you.
That's why I don't travel around after any band.
Well, it wasn't a matter of traveling around. It was already arranged to where, I'm going to hit Grand Rapids, Evansville, right, Fort Wayne, and then, go home.
Yeah. So have you run into this cocksucker after?
Yes, I have.
And were you nice to him? Did you shake his hand?
Well, no, I didn't. But he was the one, and I've told this story on the show before, that when they played at Nautica's stage with Vince Neil on the Rock Never Stops tour,
right?
He was the one who made everybody clear the backstage so Vince could walk from the trailer to the stage.
Yeah. I can believe you, but I can't believe everybody fucking just did what this fucking ass munch said with the whole turning around and don't look at Vince. They would have had to throw me out. I would have been like, fuck you. I'm not subservient to this fucking asshole.
But he was the guy, when Vince came out of the dressing trailer, everyone in the backstage area had to clear out.
Well, you were there with me when they tried that shit with Vince, with bret-michaels. You remember that?
Yes.
And I told the guy to go fuck himself.
Well,
he said, you can't look directly at Bret when he passes by. I was like, fuck Bret-Michaels. And Bret was right there. He was walking down the hall, and the guy's like, you can't look at Bret directly when he's fucking walking by. I was like, fuck Bret-Michaels. Fuck you too.
And then when Vince got off the stage, he cleared the backstage so Vince could walk from the stage to the trailer.
Fuck off, your Royal Highness. Eat a dick.
Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hail and kill. Basically, this is what seems to me. The reason this is one of those little cock matches that fucks up. But he's a fuck up. But he's a little sniveling fuck up, so he decides, he was dressed down about an issue, and you were there, and he saw that. So he thought he was going to try to assert some twisted sense of authority by telling them, okay, get out of here before Doc and friend come, Basically, that seemed like he was spiting, This is, I'm going to spite him or some shit,
I don't know what the reason was.
That's basically what it was. This guy's a little fucking cockmunch. And that's how they operate. They're little shitheels. I mean, they're callow and weak. So they try to do shit like that. I've dealt with fucking people like that all my fucking life, and they fucking suck. He's a little cocksucker, and you give him a little bit of authority, and he can't handle it. He's a fuck up.
Okay.
Glad to see you're in a good mood.
Of course I am. I'm always in a good mood. All right, hail and kill. Fuck you, pal. Hey, Joe!
And speaking of our good friend Jeff Pilson.
Yes.
When that bus pulled up at that arena in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
He was the first one to jump off that bus.
Yeah.
Open up the side bay, grab my bags, put it inside there, and then put his hand on my shoulder. He'd go, "Get on the bus, bro. Let's go."
Nice.
Yep.
Pilson rules, man.
Yeah, man. He was the first one off that bus,
Nothing against Sean, but don't you wish Jeff and Don could work out their shit?
I do. I do.
Too.
Plus, he's got such great backing vocals.
He does.
That harmony is just missing.
Yeah, it is. But, dude, there was pictures today from NAMM of Jeff and Sean together.
Well, you know what?
They obviously have no bad blood.
No, why would they?
Well, who knows? One took the other one's job. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's been other bases since Jeff.
And let's face it, the minute Jeff says, I want back in, whoever's fucking holding that slot will no longer be holding that slot.
Right.
Jeff will get that job back.
I mean, Barry Sparks was in after Jeff.
Yep, exactly.
So it's not like he just came in, you're fired, man, I'm taking over.
There's been like 3 or 4 guys in there until Sean came, wasn't there?
No, it was just Barry Sparks and Sean.
Wasn't there like some part-timers, though?
Like
1 or 2 show guys?
No.
Or was that drumming? That was drumming.
That was drumming, but Greg Smith did fill in here and there.
Right.
But that was just like per show.
I know on the drum position, good Lord. You never knew who was going to be playing.
Yeah, they also had McCarville on bass as well.
Yeah, the curly-haired guy.
Yeah, from House of Lords.
McCarville?
Yeah, Chris McCarville from House of Lords.
Right.
Hey, man, there's just a different perspective on life, and he's still a fucking dick.
There's your line.
Yep, there it is. That's where we must have got it from.
You gotta grab that. He's still a fucking dick.
We need that.
You realize no one changes, and that's the problem.
Well, you can put up with anybody when there's a cash that's coming in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Word to Nikki. Word to Tim over there in Australia. You could put up with anybody as long as the cash is coming in.
Right.
So he told the truth right there.
He did. Of course he did.
As long as the cash is coming in.
Yep.
Exactly the way we look at this radio show.
That's what I figured. We've gotten older, obviously, and it's like in your kindergarten, if you.
Does that obviously count in the chat room?
Boy, me and you were both obviously in our asses off during the Jizzy interview.
Right.
Someone pulled your hair, you don't hold a grudge for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like between me and Tommy, we've been, friends for 30 years. And, we've punched each other many times, throughout the years. And I'm sure we'll do it again.
You guys sounded great at the HD TV. I just saw a high-definition concert you guys did.
Oh, yeah,
it was fantastic, man. You sound great.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was, I redid all the vocals here. So. I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
He's not kidding about a goddamn word of it.
He sits there and makes those veiled comments, and then he laughs like it's not true.
Yeah, because clearly, especially in that one, there's no question that. Why would he say that unless he did that?
Right, and it's the same thing with we all ride separate buses. Of course we're getting along.
Yeah, we get along great.
Yeah. Dude, you all ride separate buses.
The magic of the studio.
How is that, though? Is it rough as you get older to keep, because the type of music you guys do, obviously, to have a younger voice.
Does that count?
Obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously it
would
counts.
Be a lot better. That you get a little older, some people kind of lose the pipes. It's harder to hit those high notes.
Not really, because even when I wasn't with doing the Motley stuff, I would be touring on my own, and so it's just like working out, It's a muscle. It just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and my voice right now is probably the best it's been in many, many years. So
there you go, Chris.
Yeah, sure.
A little inspiration for you.
Yeah, well, Vince Neil says it, especially with his vocal prowess. I must take fucking advantage of his advice.
Well, obviously, he's a great singer.
Is there a guy that had a worse voice than his that had more success?
No. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I'm going to play this here.
Hey, it's been 5 minutes, and it's time now for Neely to talk Dokken on the Classic Metal Show.
There was one evening
that
Don and I were riding in the car, and we had something that Vince had done. I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
And Don was doing his pre-show warm-ups. He does these warm-ups where he does, the typical la 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 la, that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And somehow Vince and Stephen Piercy both came up in conversation.
Okay.
And he said, 2 of the luckiest guys in rock and roll. He said Vince Neil can trip, land in a pile of dog shit, and still come out smelling like a rose. And I still, at this point, cannot understand that.
Yeah.
Luckiest guy in rock and roll.
He definitely is.
Luckiest guy.
Piercy's right up there, too. I mean, Piercy doesn't exactly... But Piercy... Yeah, Vince just stinks. but Piercy, at least... he had a unique voice. It wasn't good, but it was unique.
Yeah, but it fit what he did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Vince just sucks. Always has, always will. I mean, every album, he stinks. He's always the weakest link on every single album that they ever did.
Right.
You know, and he didn't have a unique voice and didn't have a good voice, and then they fucking improved by 1,000,000 times when they got rid of him. But, yeah, Piercy's another one. Who else was really bad but had success? Anybody?
Not to that degree.
Not to that level. I mean, when you get into some of the screamer kind of guys, like I know a lot of people don't like Tom Kiefer, or, you know, but I don't know. None to the level of those two. And Kiefer's like an awesome person too. You know, a super nice guy to make up for a bad show every now and again with fucking being cool.
Right. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Meanwhile, Don Dokken vocally fell into a barrel of boobs and came up sucking his thumb.
Okay.
Chris, I know you're a collector of bootlegs. Have you heard the arcade show from Milwaukee in '93?
I have that, yeah.
There are a couple of hilarious Piercy moments in it where he tries, I think it's the song Mother Blues. He just sounds terrible.
Yeah. But sadly, if Piercy gets his hands on that, it'll be Arcade 5.
Yeah, okay.
He'll release it.
Look, I'm a bootleg collector, but I'm not a serious collector. If it doesn't have good sound quality, or if the performance isn't good, I don't keep it. I threw that one out.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If it's not soundboard, I have no interest in it.
Sure. But other guys, bad singers that had some success, how can you not mention joe-leste?
Yeah, that is true. He really is not very good.
Yeah, he's not a great singer.
No.
I mean, not that he had a whole ton of success, but shit. I mean...
Yeah, but he did it with 2 bands. He had average success with 2 different bands.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He had fringe peripheral success with 2 bands.
Yeah?
But
yeah,
I mean, I bought that first bang-tango CD, and not when it was fresh out, maybe like a year later, but I hated it just because of Joe. It took me years to get into it, to get past his horrible... He sounds like a hungover George Thorogood at some point.
Well, the thing that worked in their favor was the fact that they, you know, came in at near the end of the MTV video thing, and had they not had MTV video success, they would have not had any success at all.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, the things that I like about bang-tango now were that, I mean, the bass playing was different. It was almost, you know, Chili Peppers, funky-like. That, and the lead guitarist was totally biting Slash.
Right.
And I'd just listen around Joe, screeching and, you know, gurgling.
Right. Wow, somebody in the chat, Chipper in the chat room, brought up a good one, too. Dizzy Dean Davidson from Britney Fox.
Well, he was trying to do the whole Tom Kiefer thing.
Yeah, but he did it poorly.
Yeah, he was a poor man's Tom Kiefer.
Yeah, he sucked.
Weren't some members of Britney Fox, didn't they eventually go on to be in Cinderella?
Well, what it is, and this was years ago. This was back in 99. Britney Fox got back together in 99, and they toured with Doro.
Right.
And they played up at, where the hell was it? It was, I think it was one of Mitch's clubs.
Flying Machine?
It could have been. But I talked to Michael Kelly Smith then, and Michael Kelly Smith is the actual legal owner of the Cinderella name.
Wow. Not Disney?
No. The Cinderella band name.
Oh, okay.
And he started Cinderella. And Michael Kelly Smith, former guitarist of Britny Fox, started Cinderella, and there was like some interchange members there, and then Tom Kiefer came in, and it just became what it was. And then Michael Kelly Smith started Britny Fox, both of them from Philadelphia. And
I did know that.
Yeah, and so they basically were almost rival bands, even though Michael Kelly Smith still holds the quote-unquote the ownership of the Cinderella band trademark, I guess.
Wow.
How has he been able to hold it for 25 years?
Well, whatever it is, whatever the statute of the limitations is, but he was the trademark owner, whatever it is that they have to do. But he's the guy. He started Cinderella.
So does he still get money for it? Or?
I have no idea. All I know is that he runs a horse farm down in West Virginia or something now.
I thought that was Dizzy Dean.
No, Dizzy's actually back.
Oh, okay.
Guess what? A singer?
Yes.
For what band?
For Britny Fox.
Get out of here.
I'm not kidding you.
How did we miss this momentous event?
Well, regardless.
How did I miss that news?
Exactly. That's what I just said. It's like if the Rolling Stones broke up and got back together.
Sure.
How do we miss it?
Yeah. Well, it isn't obviously. There's my obviously, but it's not that big of a deal. But the only person not involved with music out of that lineup is Michael Kelly Smith. He's basically retired. He's just like, I'm done. I'm raising horses.
Yeah, because he's still getting paid Cinderella money.
It could be.
Probably is, because otherwise, Britny Fox sure didn't make enough money to retire from.
No, but he's like I said, he's raising like thoroughbred horses or something.
I gotta wonder if they made enough money to pay my rent for a month. They were not that good.
No.
I mean, the third album was good, but
I like the second album actually. I don't really care for the first one, but I'd take Boys in Heat over that one any day.
Oh, I love the third one, the one with the apple on the cover, whatever that was.
Bite Down Hard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. But it seems to me like the best songs they did were all covers, whether it be Hair of the Dog or Midnight Moses or even Goodbye to Jane.
Right.
And one more terrible vocalist who had a lot of success, and I know it's almost like a fish in a barrel exercise to throw out new metal vocalists, but I never thought Jonathan Davis was that great.
I like him.
To me, he did the fake death metal thing not very well, and then his actual singing voice was this sort of hoarse, I've got a cold, but I'm going to sing anyway, half crying bullshit deal.
That's funny.
And this guy finished both of the first two Korn albums by breaking down in tears. Who the fuck wants to hear that?
The emo kids want to hear that.
I love that first album.
Yeah, I liked it at the time because it was something different and it was something new. But I don't want to hear some guys fucking blubber for 10 minutes at the end of a CD.
Then you don't want to hear Chris's stories.
Yeah. And if you're wondering where you know who is, he's downstairs practicing scales.
Right.
Probably working out his new bandmates.
Yeah, well, Easy Rock didn't work out, so he got a real drummer.
Right.
That's what he told me.
Okay.
Hail and kill.
Hail and kill.
Fuck you, pal.
Nice.